So, progressives are entirely fucked, and I don't know what to really do about it. Well, I do know what to do about it. We need to get cowardice out of the mentality and mindset of people on the left, because there's just a bunch of cowardly sacks of shit out there. And I'm going to talk about one of those cowardly sacks of shit, because this fucking loser is such a pathetic, fascistic little bitch that because he didn't like a message I sent to him, he spent literally 4 weeks messaging the admins of Reddit, harassing me using the harassment system. Also would piss me off enough that I would actually go after him within a message itself. And so this loser's name is Green as Can Be. He's the Reddit moderator of Political Revolution. What a fucking garbage! I just realized the inherent irony of this sack of shit. He's the moderator of Political Revolution. This sack of shit can't handle a little fucking speech he doesn't like. And it is an exemplary fact of the problem with the progressive movement right now, which is it's filled with fucking cowards. It's filled with cowards. Like Cenk, for instance. This dude doesn't get it. Like, this dude is carrying water for the Democratic Party, and he doesn't even understand that they fucking hate his guts. They will never be on his side, and they hate him. Like, he came out with this tweet talking about, like, you know, if Democrats get control, they should withhold money from red states, but they're, you know, cowards. And like, no, dude, you're the coward here, or you're the idiot here, because guess what? The Democrats hate you. They hate your guts. Like, and what Cenk is doing with this is trying to be a attack dog for the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? You got Democrats here, Republicans here. Cenk is trying to be a attack dog and turn his back to the Democratic Party to attack Republicans. And the second I saw this, I was like, bro, they're going to stab you in the back. And then I just started reading the tweets like, yep, they stabbed him in his fucking back. And that's what he deserved. He absolutely deserved to get stabbed because of the fact he's not learning anything. And Cenk telling anybody to vote for Joe Biden is telling progressives themselves to be lapdogs to get stabbed in the back, or get stabbed in the back and be as comfortable with getting stabbed in the back as Cenk is with getting stabbed in the back. Like, and that's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? He's not actually elevating the concept and the idea that progressives need to have a backbone and stand up for principles. And this is the reality. As long as we sustain ourselves within the Democratic Party, the only thing that we're going to do is we're going to cause ourselves to fail, and fail miserably. Because at the end of the day, the Democratic Party is here to destroy a progressive movement. What the Democratic Party wants is for a progressive movement to be within its control so they can murder it from the inside. If a progressive movement exists outside of the Democratic Party's control, they don't have the same power and control over it. And that's what they're really afraid of. And so it brings me back to, you know, these fascist little sacks of shit like the moderator of fucking Political. Are you shitting me? I can't believe it's like, it's so goddamn ironic, but it's so hilarious. Like, he is such a feckless little bitch. Like, this dude is so pathetic and worthless. He can't handle a debate. And this is the very idea that SJWs and progressives have in a lot of the sense, which is like, you know, I don't like what you have to say, so I'm gonna tell somebody. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, and this is what it is. It goes in the face of what actual change looks like, because you know how you change a country? You live by higher standards than the country offers. You know what I mean? But people like him, they're just so pathetic and weak that they have to use the very establishment itself as a means to affect the establishment. But if the establishment's corrupt, it literally will not allow any change to happen within the establishment. Like, it's how can I put it simplistically? You can't, I don't even know, like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like complaining about the corruption of a police force. In order to try to get rid of the corruption of the police force, you use the police force. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, you're a fucking moron and you're a pathetic little bitch. The way you change a corrupt police force is to change the community's understanding of what a police force should do. Redetermine the parameters and validations of a police force. Why are they here? And you do that from a societal vantage point. You can't do that if you're a pathetic little coward, a little bitch, you know what I mean? And it's one of the reasons I've actually argued with a lot of trolls online. It's one of the reasons I've argued with Republicans. Like, I'm Christian-ish. I don't, you know, ish. But I believe in God, even though I'm not a fan at this point in time. But I believe in God. But I used to argue against atheists. Like, the reason I'm good at debates, like really good at debates, is because I argued with the atheists at like the height of like the Richard Dawkins, you know, Christopher Hitchens, like that uphill thing, like Atheism Plus. I would spend hours upon hours a week arguing with these people because I thought they were wrong. But I believed in the honesty of an argument, and if they had a better argument than mine, I wanted to make the best argument I could, and I wanted to see if I could beat their argument, because if I'm right, then I should be inherently able to create better arguments. But I'm telling you, man, these people were some of the most vitriolic people I've ever came across, like some of the most hateful people that you'll ever come across. But, you know, and that's kind of where I got my, like, debating chops. Like, I do not care. I will call you a fucking piece of shit. And I'll even call you a fucking piece of shit to your face. Like, I've done that on occasion. But the point is like, listen, you have to go where people are. And as long as the left continues to have this mentality and this belief that we have to be weak and pathetic, you know, like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer, we're not going to do anything. Because Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are weak on purpose. And what do I mean by this? We're social animals. Anybody who looks at Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer as leaders are going to emulate their leadership. But their leadership is doing absolutely nothing for the people. The reason we don't have Medicare for all isn't because we don't have Democrats in power. The reason we don't have Medicare for all is because the Democrats won't pass it. And this is the major problem that we have with people like Cenk, who are constantly like, yeah, vote Democrat, vote Democrat, vote Democrat. It's like, listen, do you think Nancy Pelosi under any circumstances is going to pass Medicare for all? Do you ever think that's going to happen? And if that is not the case, then we can't use the Democratic Party as a vehicle for change. And if we can't use the Democratic Party for a vehicle of change, what is the fucking point of trying to change them? It's like, it's so asinine and stupid that I'm just here flabbergasted at the very concept of it. But you have so many people who have this just weak and pathetic nature that they would rather show fealty to evil that is the Democratic Party than stand on their own with integrity and morals to fight for something real that can manifest itself in different ways. Because what they're familiar with is the Democratic Party and the corruption of it and the evil of it. But they know and they understand that evil and that corruption, and if they fought outside of the party, they might actually have to hold some responsibility to make a change for the entire society, entire world, and they don't want to do that. They don't want that kind of pressure. It's exactly what Bernie Sanders has done, what he's done. Like Bernie Sanders feels vastly more comfortable being the Democrats' little bitch than he does being a man and standing up for actual morals against the corruption of the United States government. And that's just what it is. Bernie Sanders is too cowardly to take a stand. That's also why you put people like Jeff Weaver and the fucking idiots on his campaign. I'm sure there's a great deal of decent people on his campaign staff, because I am Sean from fucking Colorado. And if anybody listened to some of the voicemails on Bernie Sanders' campaign, they know who I am. Wasn't always nice, wasn't always kind, but I was always fucking right. Like, I was always fucking right. I was like, I think before 2020 even started, or like in January, I was calling out the Bernie Sanders campaign like, listen, you need to talk to black people. You need to talk to black people. You need to talk to black people. This is how you talk to black people. This is how you talk to black people without alienating white people. This is how you do it. These sacks of arrogant, useless shit that he put around him ignored all of that advice. Like, I had to call them after South Carolina. I was like, listen, so you have ads in Spanish, like literally entirely in Spanish. You don't have one fucking ad targeting black people. Not one fucking ad. 2 days later, they came out the ad. Oh, great. Now you listen? And it was just like after he got slaughtered in South Carolina. And the problem is that, like, what is the problem? They didn't listen. And I told them, like, I called them like 2-3 weeks straight. Do not attack your own support. Do not attack your own support. Do not attack your own supporters. I was like, this is going to demoralize, it's going to fuck everything up. Don't attack your own supporters. I can make an entire video talking about the inherent stupidity of, you know, Bernie Sanders attacking his own supporters, but that's not neither here nor there. The major point is like, I was giving the Bernie Sanders a shit ton of advice, like 1/4 of which I would actually say they listened to. Like, there's an ad, real quick, just to show my political chops. There's an ad where I told him, like, listen, take 15 seconds of Joe Biden talking about how he's going to cut Medicare for all, cut Medicare for all, and not Medicare for all, cut entitlements, Social Security, you know, Medicaid, and then have 15 seconds of Bernie Sanders talking about how he's going to expand them. Just make that ad. Just make that fucking ad. They made the fucking ad. You know where they played it? Iowa, New Hampshire. You know where Joe Biden was not fucking viable, or almost nearly not viable? Iowa, New Hampshire. And the second that happened, Bernie Sanders let off, because that shit didn't play in Colorado. I doubt it played in California. I doubt it played across the country. So Bernie Sanders failed his entire supporters by being this feckless, weak, pathetic joke of a candidate who wasn't willing to stand up against the corruption for the American public. And that's the problem with the progressive movement. And it's a problem I see with people like AOC. They're showing fealty to evil, and they don't understand that when you show fealty to evil that goes against your very morals and integrity, your morals and integrity can be ignored and exported and just completely blown the fuck off. And progressives need to learn that we need to have a backbone. And you know where that starts? It starts with attacking the Democratic Party from the left. Claire McCaskill, for instance. This evil bitch has now just decided to vote to allow the FBI, the motherfucking FBI, to investigate your search history. You know what we need to do today? We need to start targeting all these Democrats. Republicans be damned. Start targeting these Democrats. Like literally plaster all across California. Dianne Feinstein thinks that the FBI has the right to look into your fucking web history without a warrant. Post that shit everywhere. Do it for Tim Kaine. Over and over and over again. We need to stop being fucking cowards. That's how we win. We need to go after these fucking people's jugulars. Because this is the reality. As long as we're playing this fucking game of, oh my god, I can't attack the Democrats because Republicans might win, we're gonna fucking have evil people because the only thing that the Democrats have to be is marginally better than Republicans. And we're just gonna be like, I can't do it because, Republicans. Fuck that. Go after them. Go after them hard, go after them heavy, and the difference between us and all these other motherfuckers, we can keep this shit up all year. Dianne Feinstein cannot be up for election for another 4 years. We can talk shit about her the entire 4 years. You know what that's going to do? It's going to change people's mentality about Democrats. It's going to change people's mentality about Dianne Feinstein, about the corruption, about the evil. We need to educate people about the evil and the corruption of the Democratic Party. We need to make fucking posters, you know what I mean? Like little memes of Nancy Pelosi talking about all the evil shit she's done. Like this bitch literally is trying to bail out debt collectors. Nigga, what? Like, this bitch is trying to bail out debt collectors. Wait, what? Like, and that's where we're at. That's where we're at right now. This bitch is trying to bail out debt collectors. And we ain't saying shit because Donald Trump bad. Fuck you. That shit's insane. And it's comical. And as long as you have people like that in power, in office, and we are not willing to call her an evil bitch, she's going to stay in power. Maybe, no, fuck that. I'll say that shit. I'll say that shit to her face. I'll say even worse. Anyways, the point is she's evil and words don't matter. Evil matters. And the problem that you have with a lot of people, like I was saying, this fucking useless loser, green as can be, is that you have this like this neo-fascist or this lib-fascist mentality, which is like, hey, I feel right, so I'm gonna silence you. Like freedom of speech doesn't mean that, bro. And it's just like, dude, like I know what kind of sack of shit this dude is. He's an SJW, 1000%. But it's this sack of shit mentality that the left has to be whiny and pathetic instead of strong and moral. And I'm always on the strong moral side. Like, listen, I don't give a fuck about curse words. I don't care about politeness, because politeness is bullshit morality. I care about, do you care about children dying because they can't afford, because their parents can't afford to save their life because, they get cancer? Do you care about people being raped in prison? Do you care about that shit? You care about that shit, you're a moral person. If you fight for it like it's an important fucking issue, you're a moral person. If you say, well, I just kind of disagree, I don't know how, fuck you, you're a sack of shit and an immoral person. It's that goddamn simple. Do you think that every American should be able to get not fucking access, should get healthcare if they need it? Do you think a person should die because they're too poor to afford to live? Do you think that? Yes or no? If you think someone does not deserve, that everyone, regardless of your money, deserves to get the healthcare you need, you're a good person. If you don't, you're a sack of shit. That's how you argue. You argue on the issues and you argue from a position of morality. The second you make this argument about an issue of politeness is the second you're fucking doomed. Okay? So the major point here is quit being a bunch of fucking cowards. That's how we win. Because cowardice is the death sentence to the Democratic Party. And you can see it with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders was a fucking useless coward, and they treated him like trash and have discarded him since. And now the only thing he is the whipping boy of the Democratic Party who does nothing and stands for nothing and only bends the knee to a potential fucking dude who has a credible sexual assault allegation against him. Like this, and because he's your friend. So I guess you don't actually believe in any of this shit. Another thing I would say, call out the fucking pieces of shit for being Me Too. That's the only way we're going to salvage that shit at all, is to say that the Democratic Party, these sacks of shit, these evil sacks of shit in the Democratic Party are sick, depraved bastards who at the end of the day do not give a fuck about women unless it serves their political interest. And that's the way you actually salvage the Me Too movement and even improve upon it. Yeah, I mean, sexuality is a very complex issue. I understand that, but Joe Biden is a sack of shit, and we know that Joe Biden is a sack of shit and does not deserve to be president. I mean, shit. I'm light-skinned as shit, still black. Joe Biden is the reason black people are being raped in prison right now. He escalated the war on drugs, mandatory minimums, doubled the prison population, like literally doubled the amount of prisons we have in the United States. And we act like Joe Biden is some good person. He's an evil sack of shit who is going to burn in hell. The more we say it, the better off it's going to be. But the second you give up your position of moral integrity to support a person like Joe Biden, you have nothing to say. And you're a sack of fucking useless garbage who's easily bought off by anybody. Like, if you don't stand up against Joe Biden, to me, you're a sack of useless shit. You really are. You have no morals, you have no integrity, and you have nothing to add to this conversation. So, deuces, fuck off. I don't know. I don't hate Pac-Man. I probably would. I might just end the video a little bit earlier. It's not. I'm thinking about Cenk. If you tell other people that they need to vote for Joe Biden, that's what I mean. If we go around telling you you need to vote for Joe, go fuck yourself, you sack of shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. There we go. I can stamp that of approval.